This is the Padres Postcast, your instant game reaction for the San Diego Padres. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Padre fan? Welcome to your Padres Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Jim Grieshaber, of course. You can call me Gries, Gries, at Jim Gries _ on social media. And man, all good things must come to an end, right? Well, tonight, that was the story at Petco Park as the San Diego Padres showed some of those growing pains they're going through right now with the new additions, and their 6-game win streak is snapped. Finito, over. Dunzo. 8-5. The St. Louis Cardinals get the win. And what was frustrating about this game is that the Padres were up 4-0. And they were up 4-0, a little bit later in the game. I mean, not super late in the game. It's the 4th inning when the Cardinals scored 4. But Randy Vasquez looked great through 3. And, the 4th inning, a whole different story. It just was one of those nights. And then, of course, Yuki Matsui got touched up for 2 later in the game. And just, the Padres only scored 1 more the rest of the way. But some positives to take from it. Some things like Vasquez working with a new catcher and Freddie Fermin. Don't let me say Felix Fermin. Freddie Fermin, who, by the way, had 2 RBI tonight. Jackson Merrill hit a homer. Manny almost did. Took one off the wall. Got thrown out at second. But drove in Luis Arise, who now has a 15-game hitting streak. Career high. Longest in the majors. And Jackson Merrill went deep. I think I said that. Fernando 0 for 5. Couple hard hit balls. Lined out once. Hit one to end the game to the track in right field. And almost to the wall. And how about Ramon Laureano? With an RBI triple, looked a lot like Derek Jeter, inside out, fisting it the other way down the line. Vintage Derek Jeter. So a nice job by some of the guys on the team tonight, especially offensively. Vasquez just couldn't keep it going. In the bullpen, not its usual dominant self. No Suarez, no Adam, no Mason tonight, Miller. So just one of those things where, you didn't really have a chance to get those guys going either because, Morgan pitched, Matsui pitched, Peralta pitched, and Jeremiah Estrada gave up a run, but you didn't see. I think the new 4 horsemen would be Morejon and Miller. Sorry, well, maybe it's the 5 horsemen now. It's not my name. I can't change it. You know what I mean? Schulte has to do that. All right, Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries. Just getting started on your Padres Postcast. Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. 8-5 Cardinals. Let's go.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Oh, they're going to be talking about that 4-run 4th inning, though. That's the thing. Randy Vasquez was cruising, and that's what I want to start with. Vasquez was cruising, ended up giving up 8 hits, 5 earned runs, struck out 3, and walked none. Gave up a big 3-run homer to Pedro Pages, and that was, what are you going to do? A hanging curveball right over the middle of the plate. Just coming in. I used to love those when I played. I could have hit that one tonight. It's just coming in looking this big, going, hit me, crush me out of here. And that's exactly what Pages did. So give him credit. It just was a shame to see him fall apart like that. Evan Goodman wants to know, by the way, if you're on the YouTube show live, come on into the comments and we'll have a little chat. Evan Goodman wants to know, do you think the Padres can win the division? I'm sure a lot of you are wondering that no matter where you're watching or listening to us, making us your first watch or listen every day, whether it be me or Javi with the podcast, right? On YouTube, on Roku, Apple, iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean, Spotify, you name it, we are there for you. Do I think they can win the division? Yes. They could have been 2 games out with a win tonight, and they're 3 right now. Dodgers lost again today. They've been struggling. I think it has to do as much of it has to do with the Padres getting better at the deadline and being real good and being gritty and tough, winning a lot of one-run games and figuring things out along the way. But then it also has a lot to do with the Dodgers and their struggles. Did you see Blake Snell tonight? Ooh, boy. Those Dodger fans are not real happy with his start and his first game back, but that happens, right? Anyway, it happens. But Randy Vasquez just couldn't get it going. They trade Kolek, they trade Bergert, they stick with Vasquez. And of course, you have Sears now. King is coming back. You have Cease, who's pitching tomorrow. So King, Cease, Sears will be in the rotation. You have to think, obviously, as a lefty. And then you have, with those 3 guys, then you have another spot with Pivetta, obviously, right? So those 4. And then when they need a 5th, maybe it'll be Vasquez. But I don't know. I mean, it just was not a good representation of himself tonight, especially in that 4th inning. And, of course, the homer will happen, the hanging curve. Every once in a while, you make a mistake. And he was pitching to a new catcher. So I want to give him a little bit of slack. He looked great. So you might say, Gries, how come he was so great in the first 3 innings? Didn't seem to be bothering him then. Well, yeah, but it's a new catcher calling the game, very different in situations that pop up. They don't have the same rapport that he has with Diaz or Maldonado, and Diaz played good last night, and he's been on fire, but you got to get Fermin a start. He just came here. So, I don't think Schilt did anything wrong tonight. Played Laureano, played O'Hearn at DH. I don't think he's going to be a first baseman here. I thought they might move Arise over, but he appears to love Cronenworth for some reason. Plays really good defense, but aside from that, you really think Cronenworth is a starting second baseman for like a world championship team or a team that goes deep into the playoffs? Because I don't, and I don't know him. I'm just saying, honest opinion, just from what I've seen on the field. It's nothing against Jake. I love the name Jake. My oldest son's named Jake, but I just don't think that he's the guy to get it done there. And I'd move Arise back. And I put, I thought that's what they got over for. But we'll talk about that later, right? We'll talk about that another time. And O'Hearn, they pinch it for him with Iglesias tonight. Who knows what's going to go on here, right? New toys for Schilty to play with. All kinds of things could happen. But I do know this. It was not a good night for Randy Vasquez. And then the bullpen, just didn't get it done tonight either. Crucial coming up, Padres, Dodgers. You're right, Evan. 3 games in LA, middle of the month, later in the month back in San Diego. But also they play the D-Bags coming up. They got the Red Sox this month. It's a tough month, man. And winning 6 in a row when they did really got you pumped. The deadline additions, it always takes some time. Derek Jeter just said it about the Yankees on Fox, right? He just said that today on national TV. And when Derek Jeter says, it has to be true, right? But no, seriously, he said, hey, new relievers coming in. They're going to struggle. New catchers going to struggle. It's going to happen. It's going to happen because they're getting used to each other. They're getting comfortable. They're starting to fit in. And that's what's going to happen, right? So you have to give it time. You got to let it breathe. They are just coming off a 6-game win streak. They're in a good spot in the wild card race. So let's see how tomorrow goes with Dylan Cease on the mound. I think that's a huge key. I think the 2 biggest keys to whether or not the Padres win the division, and I'm just going to say it, because the bullpen's been lights out all year, and they just got a lot better with Mason Miller. Good Lord. They could go to the pen after the 4th inning with the 5 horsemen now, and it's a wrap. Doc say it's a wrap. It's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? It's a wrap. So with all that said, the bullpen locked down, the rotation with King coming back, the 2 things that are going to me, and it's one thing, but it's 2 guys. Dylan Cease, will he turn it around at all? He's shown so many glimpses of brilliance in his 22 starts this year, but he's 3-10, man. How many times can you strike out 9-10 guys in a game and then let him hang a 4 or a 5 spot on you in 1 or 2 innings? He throws way too many pitches down the middle this year. He's been so hittable. And the thing about Cease is he can be 2 different pitchers within the same game. So will Dylan Cease get it together? And I think maybe not more importantly, but very close. Obviously, you hope Pivetta can keep it going. That's another thing. But it's the starting pitching, if you haven't figured it out yet. They're going to hit. They're going to keep hitting. They're top-heavy. Their top 4 hitters have the best average in baseball for any top 4 hitters on any team. So they're going to keep hitting. And then the bottom of the lineup just got a lot better. I believe they'll be fine. They're a very good defensive team. Intangibles, gut checks, winning close games, check, 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 check. Will the starting pitching hold up? Will Michael King come back and be an ace, and will Dylan Cease turn it around? Because if King and Cease turn it around, the way Pivetta's been throwing, King and Cease turn it around, and they pitch lights out like they're both, we know, capable of, right? They've done it for years. Then I would tell you maybe the Padres could be a favorite. I definitely feel like they'd be one of the favorites to win the World Series. If those 2 guys go lights out in a playoff series against other teams' top pitchers, and it's anybody's ball game, don't you like the Padres' chances with all these 1-run games, all these times they've had to pull it out, all these times they've been undermanned? They just didn't have enough guns to bring to the gunfight. They were bringing knives to the gunfight, the bottom of that lineup. Schilte's going to have to ditch some of those guys. We'll talk about that. Come on, how in the hell do you DH Iglesias last? The guy hits 230, and you're DH. He's a middle infielder with no power, and you're DHing him. Do they not know yet about the DH in the National League? It's Dave Kingman. It's Dave Parker. It's the DH, man. It's Rob Deere. You want to go back. It's the DH, man. They strike out. They hit home runs. Danny Tartable. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I thought they were going to get Ozuna. That would have been the bat I really wanted in the middle. But, hey, it did not happen. And I know they really wanted Jarren Duran. They wanted to get more bags that they could swipe and stuff like that. But, hey, it is what it is. They got who they got. But can they win the division? King and Cease, I believe, are the 2 biggest keys to that. Don't want to jinx anything, but I think Padres can win the division this year, says Evan Goodman. Dodgers look vulnerable now. That's to my point, right? I said it's just as much about the Dodgers as it is the Padres. And if the Dodgers get it going, we know they're a juggernaut, right? If they get it going, they will be very, very tough to beat. But of all the teams you've seen this year, and you look at their additions, and you follow O'Hearn and Laureano, and you know what Fermin is capable of, and you know Mason Miller, right? You feel like the Padres have gotten to the point where they can compete with anybody. And, of course, you got the Phillies and the Mets, right? Cubs and Brewers, man, they're all playing great. So the National League is loaded. The National League is loaded, but it is also wide open. Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries, 8-5, the final. The Cardinals win. They were down 4-0. Tied it in the fourth inning with 4 runs. Pajes, a 3-run jack. That's a fact. Jack. Little tribute to Hulk Hogan. What you gonna do, brother? You know what I'm saying? R.I.P. to the Hulkster. But, yeah, Jackson Merrill hit the homer tonight. He's coming around, starting to get hot. Fernando hit the ball pretty well. That 0 for 5 doesn't look good, and it's never going to look good. Manny gets thrown out at second, trying to leg out a double off the wall. Couple things here and there, and maybe this game's different. But end of the night, you're losing. Your win streak's over. You've lost this one. You got to win the series tomorrow. That's a crucial key, is winning the series tomorrow, because you just split with the Cardinals last week. You got to win this series. If somehow this team gets hot and they're a competitor in the wild card race, but they just sold at the deadline. But if they are, you want to have that season series edge. And for no other reason, you definitely, and you got to keep pace right now. And while the Dodgers are struggling, keep winning, baby. Keep winning. You got the Diamondbacks, who have already mailed it in. They traded half their team. Red Sox coming in after that. They had a big win streak before the deadline that stopped them from trading Jarren Duran and probably a few other guys and having another fire sale, because John Henry's a terrible owner, and he's always been a terrible owner. And then you look at the Padres and the Red Sox, then the Giants. You go to San Francisco, then you go to LA. Talk about a road trip. Giants and Dodgers back to back, man. That starts on the 11th and keeps going. But anyway, you play the Dodgers twice and the Giants twice this month. You play the red-hot Mariners, and boy, did they just get better with Suarez coming in. And then you finish it off with the Twinkies. They just traded their closer to Philly, so it is what it is, man. He and Suarez almost have the same entrances. But I am Jim Grieshaber. Call me Gries. Got to take a quick break, tell you about something that's keeping me locked and loaded. Locked in? Nah, I think locked on would be the phrase. But when we return, or we're actually not going anywhere. You're not, I'm not, but we're going to talk about something for a moment, and then when we come back, it's going to be the turning point. It's going to be time for the player of the game, and then we'll talk a little bit about tomorrow, and then we're going to say adios. All right, Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries, Padres Postcast, Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Oh, let me tell you about 5-Hour Energy. Time to fuel up and turn it up with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. It brings the bold grape, the ginger, and lime flavor of your favorite golf drink, minus the alcohol, of course, into a quick, energizing shot. So whether you're sinking birdies or just making memories with friends, this one's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Let's be honest, some days on the course are off it. You just need that extra boost to stay sharp and energized. You know what I mean? I need it all the time to do the show here. That's what I'm talking about. A little extra boost, man. I mean, you just know when you're golfing, right? I mean, the most ridiculous shot you've ever seen or taken on the course. There are a few of them in the new Happy Gilmore movie. I actually played a little bit with Adam Sandler in the 90s. I interviewed him at Inverary Country Club in Florida, where his parents were members, Stan and Judy. Got to know them. I was doing a golf show called the 19th Hole there. Anyway, some crazy shots. I actually hit a hole-in-one at Inverary Country Club. I did in my 20s at a hole-in-one. Ridiculous shot. And hey, 5-Hour Energy could always be a part of something like that, right? That energy when you pump that fist, it is what it is. I love that golf memory. And golf is all about good times with good people, right? Good flavors, of course. The grape ginger lime flavor gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without chasing down the Bev card. And right now, hey, if you go to 5hourenergy.com today, that is the number 5hourenergy.com, you can use my promo code LOCKEDONGolf to receive 20% off your order. And this offer is only valid until September 30th on one order and can't be used with other promotions. This code is not good on subscription orders. So whether you're meeting up with friends or trying to turn 18 holes into 36, get the energizing boost you need to power through. Order transfusion-flavored 5-Hour Energy shots today. On the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries. Padres drop the second game of this series to the Cardinals, 8-5 tonight at Petco. And look, Randy Vasquez started pretty good tonight. I mean, he did. He didn't look bad early on. I'll tell you this, he did not. Randy Vasquez, pretty good in the first inning. Gave up a one-out double, but, you know, and a lot of fly balls early, too, and that's never a good sign But the Padres come up in the bottom of the first, and they did what the Padres have been doing lately. Manny Machado with the single. He got thrown out second. Single off the wall, scored. Louis Arise, who had doubled to left. 15-game hit streak. Career high, #1 in the majors right now. Second inning for Vasquez, gives up a leadoff single. Pass ball. He goes to second, but then a strikeout and a ground out. Looking good, looking better. Padres come up in the second, make it 3-0, right? Bogarts reaches on an infield single. O'Hearn strikes out swinging. He does that a lot. Laureano triples to right like Jeter. Inside out. Bogarts scores. Cronenworth hit by a pitch, and then Fermin grounds to second. Laureano scores. Cronenworth goes to second. Fernando grounds to first, inning over, but it's 3-zip. Vasquez comes back out for the third. A little pop out to Bogarts, a strikeout, a 2-out single, and then a ground out. But he's striking him out. He's getting the ball back on the ground, which is when he's at his best. You're thinking it's good. Well, it's about to get better. Padres come up in the bottom of the third. Jackson Merrill, solo shot with 2 away. Bogarts 2-out single, couldn't do anything with that. O'Hearn grounds out. Then the Cardinals come up in the fourth. Contreras doubles to lead off the inning, and he's been a Padre killer in these 2 series. And then Nootbaar grounds out. Wynn singles to center. Contreras goes to third. So it's first and third with 1 away, and then you get an RBI single from Gorman, and then Pages hits his 3-run homer. We're tied at 4 runs on 4 hits, and the bottom of the fourth, McGreevy, who started for the Cardinals, finally retires the Padres without a run being scored there, and then the Cardinals come up in the fifth, and they take a 6-4 lead. Mason Wynn's also killed the Padres in these 2 series. He doubles to left. Burleson and Herrera score. Herrera had a big night tonight with 3 hits and a lot of action on the base path. So then the Padres come up, bottom of the fifth. Arise singles to left, instantly doubled up. Manny Machado grounds to double play. Merrill strikes out looking. Peralta comes in for the Padres. 1-2-3 inning. 2 strikeouts and a ground out. Bottom of the sixth, 1-2-3 go the Padres. McGreevy really turned it around tonight. Morgan comes in for San Diego, and not a 1-2-3 inning, but a walk and then a double play, right? So 3 batters face. Padres bottom of the seventh, 1-2-3 again against Leahy. And then Morgan gets the Cardinals 1-2-3 in the eighth. Bottom of the eighth, Arise grounds out. Machado strikes out. Merrill singles. Bogarts grounds out. Then in the ninth inning, you had Matsui coming in, and he gave up a couple more runs. Burleson with a single. Contreras with a sacrifice fly. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it is what it is. Padres got one back in the ninth to make it 8-5. Fermin singles to right, scoring Iglesias. And that is how it went down. But the streak is over. What is going to happen next? We will hit that before the end of the show. But first, a couple of quick things to get to before we wrap it on up. Before we do that, though, turning point, player of the game, all that jazz, we will remind you that day in and day out, we have Locked On Padres podcast with the great Javier Reyes. Been doing it before the pandemic. The rising tide lifting all boats. A sub for him is a sub for me on any of the platforms, whether you watch live on YouTube after the game with me, daily with him, or Roku, or any of the audios, right? Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, Apple, iHeart, any of those where you find it, you will find each of us, both of us, all of us, the rising tide. Subs, comments, mailbag questions, all that for both of us. All right, what do you say we get to those benchmarks, huh? When did this game turn into the Cardinals' favor?
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
I believe the turning point was the hanging breaking ball that Randy Vasquez threw to Pedro Pages to hit the 3-run homer. It was his worst pitch of the night. He left it. I mean, it literally was one of those curveballs that just comes in head high and then breaks right down, right over the plate. Like, right, it's coming here, and it's just perfect. You're reading it the whole way in. You see the spin perfectly. You're locked and loaded on it. And Pages homer that tied the game at 4, right? Gorman with a single, scoring Contreras. Wynn goes to second. It's first and second, but the 3-run homer from Pages was definitely the turning point tonight, which leads me to...
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Oh, baby, the Locked On Player of the Game for the Padres, no doubt about it. There's a couple opportunities, or a couple options here, I should say. But the guy is Jackson Merrill again. 2 hits, had a solo homer, starting to really come around and hit the ball, and I think that that's something that's really going to be great for the Padres moving forward. All these new additions, getting Merrill going, getting Fernando going, probably more important than any of those, right? But I like the additions. I like what they've done. I like what they're doing, and they're going to continue that. It's unbelievable when you think about it right now, what the Padres have in front of them, the possibilities with this team. But tonight was not the best night. Now, you come back tomorrow, Dylan Cease, he's one of the big keys. Cease and Dicky down with the king. the pitching, the starting pitching, if Cease can bounce back and become consistent, even within starts, not even game to game, within starts, and pitch like he did 2 starts ago. Remember that one, right? And then you have Michael King, who was really getting a groove when he got hurt. He says he's ready through the simulated game. And I forgot about you, Darvish. His last time out, he was great. So when you go King, when you go, and I don't know how I forgot about you, not you, but you, you Darvish, right? So you go King, you go Cease, you go Darvish, right? Pivetta, Sears, Vasquez, whatever. But those 4, King, Cease, you, Darvish, and of course, Pivetta with the year he's having, 11-3. That's another 4 horsemen right there in your rotation. And if this team hits it all and those guys can turn it around, if Darvish can stay like he was, and he's not going to pitch like that every game, but if he keeps it consistent and Cease turns it around, King comes back looking good, I think they have a great shot. All right, Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries. You got Pallante against Cease tomorrow, and the Padres are listed as a 57% chance to win. And we're talking about the money line. They are minus 185, Cards plus 155. And on the run line, Padres minus 1.5. So big favorites with Cease on the mound against Pallante. And Pallante obviously is no stud. He's 6-7 with a 4.62. He's given up 14 home runs. Cease has given up 17. Oh, look for the long ball and take the over. It's 7.5, by the way, and it's minus 180 for the over. So what do you say? We just take the over right now. We just take the over right now. All right, that's going to do it. Thank you, Padre fan, for being here. Your Padres Postcast in the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Don't forget Javier Reyes, Locked On Padres Podcast. He's coming on this show with me tomorrow, and I'll be on his next week. And then, of course, Locked On MLB Game Night on YouTube, on the Locked On MLB channel on YouTube. It's Locked On MLB Game Night. National analysis on a local level every night, every game on the Locked On Podcast Network. And now they're taking some of the shows like this one and putting them live on that and Locked On Sports Today. So you see your boy there soon on the big network. You know what I'm saying? Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries. Thank you so much for being here. Padres Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Tomorrow the game starts at 1:10 p.m. Pacific. We'll be here right after, so about 3:30. Say about 3:30. No diggity. All right. I'm proud of myself for that one. Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries. Got to leave after that, right? Got to mic the drop. Never mind. I blew it. But I will be here tomorrow after the game with the postcast. And till then, Padre fan, thank you so much for being here. Keep your game tight and your mind right. Thank you for watching, listening to, absorbing in any fashion Padres Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.